So guys, welcome back to our banga stew cooking class. At this point, I've done with the first stage and then ready for the second stage.
But I said let me eat watermelon first. I actually cooked the stew for a while before adding other stuff.
I forgot that I'm not supposed to cover the pot entirely because the soup is almost at the brim of the pot. So if it's still boiling, it can spill on the body of the pot. And that is the situation I found myself at this point. I got really upset because this is like a double work. At some point, I thought I could just clean the body of the pot, but it did not work. I noticed that it was not going. So I have to transfer it to another pot and start washing. I wish I could give up at this point because I was so tired. But I continued. Then when Hindi boss and I here followed to Aguga. So I finished cleaning, set the pot on the fire again, and continued my cooking.
Let me tell you guys one thing. Doing voiceover is one of the hardest thing in content creating.
After spending so many hours editing a video, it will not take you another so many hours to add a voiceover to that particular
now, I'm
video.
not talking about people that are already good in this content even though they even complain too, but you cannot use it to compare people that are just starting. While trying to make one voiceover, you can reach voice 34, voice 100, and you have not even gotten what you want.
Anyway, back to our cooking. Like I said earlier, I allowed the stew to boil for some time before adding the ingredients. The ingredients I added were okpei, crayfish, onions, and pepper. I pounded everything together and then added to the stew. Kindly note that the things that you choose to put in your stew differ. Normally, ofaku does not need so much ingredients. There are just few things you can add. It will give you the original taste of the ofaku. But as for people that want to improvise, if there is anything that you want to add, you can. So the reason I didn't add meat also from the beginning of the cooking is because I've parboiled the meat to an extent, so I don't want it to soften too much. Because I cooked the stew for some time. In fact, I cooked it to the extent that I noticed that it has begun to thicken. One of the things to know when cooking ofaku or banga stew is that it does not need to be too thick and it does not need to be too watery. So in as much as you want to cook it for some time, because as the water is drying, it is getting thick, you also need to know when to stop, so it won't have to be too thick. So from the moment I added meat to my stew, I already know that it's about to thicken. I added 3 cubes of maggi and then half of the spices that I used to parboil meat. The next thing was my vegetable, and then boom, my stew was ready. I hope with this video and voiceover, you'll be able to make your own ofaku. So it's time to rate my stew, film the ambience of the stew, and it's giving. I actually have to use a voiceover because I promised to do a complete video of this. Otherwise, you know how YouTube do it. I'll just put music in the video. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video. Bye bye.